Years ago, I stopped cheering for people. I still do because it's sort of expected of me to cheer for, you know, um, my sons or whatever, right? Like that kind of stuff. But I don't believe in a lot of it because what we're ending up doing when you look at this, you look at face value, is what we're doing is we're encouraging people to base themselves based on the outcome, not necessarily based on the fact that they show up and they actually do the work and they are working towards something. And what's going to happen is that many people, if not most, will show up and they won't perform where they thought they should. And they won't win. They'll be behind. Everybody will say, well, they didn't perform so well. All of those kind of things. And I know because I show up to some things, not everything, but some things that I prefer, that you never win, right? Like if you are actually doing something. So if I was to show up and to really try at swimming, for example, and try to compete at the world stage, I would be extraordinarily far behind, extraordinarily far behind, and nobody would cheer, nobody would clap because what we're focusing on are the winners, the people that actually got to the top, and we believe that there is a strong tie between effort, strength, intelligence, whatever kind of criteria that you're looking at, some sort of features are strongly tied to outcomes or performance, right? That is the assumption that we make as humans, is that there is something that is being tied to those outcomes that is agency related, that is related to the human. But you and I know that that is not true, that most things are not related to human agency in the first place, regardless of what you look at. Whether it is, how, let's say you look at swimming and you think that it's related to human agency. You just have to try that much more, right? It's the people that try really hard that get to the top. What you're neglecting often when you do this is you neglect a whole host of other factors that are far more important. Things like your body shape, things like your muscle density, things like um, things like even willpower in your own head is related to genetics and related to you know um, what your parents have told you, what your coaches told you, all these number of different factors. And then on top of it, you have to be born in a town that has all of the right conditions, that there's good coaches, that there's any number of different things, that it's stressed. For example, if I'm born in, I don't know, some other country, nobody cares about swimming, for example. And all of these factors we ignore, and we only focus on the things that are about agency, that it's related to the human. And what you'll begin to realize when you decouple these things and become extraordinarily pessimistic about it, when you decouple it, you realize that there's a tremendous amount of other factors that play that are far more important, but we don't account for them in our little miniature mathematical models in our head of how the world works. And so we inevitably cheer because we think that, factors like effort and all of that kind of stuff actually are the reason why somebody gets to certain ways or becomes a certain way. I've been around the block long enough to see that um, some people try really hard and they will not get to the same level as other people. I mean, in fact, that is often that story will be told, and you will see that. And they'll show up, and then there'll be somebody else, right? So swimming is painfully obvious when you see this, is that somebody can practice all year round, and then another person can show up that has the right body form, the right density, all that kind of stuff, and vastly outperform somebody else. Now, at the world stage, you need to have all of those things. You need to be training and all that kind of stuff. But, at the level that most of us cheer at, whether it's, middle school or high school or elementary school, races that most of us, like real people doing real things, cheer at. Um, that doesn't count as much. And I want you to really take a step back and start thinking about this. Is what are the different factors that actually do matter, that are outside of a person's control, outside of their agency? And you will start to deconstruct it, and you'll say, oh my God, like nothing, right? Um, and that's where the only factor that matters, the only factor that really truly matters, is showing up, is actually getting there and doing it and putting in the effort. That's the only thing that matters. And we should be cheering on that and not the outcomes. We should be cheering on the fact that somebody is just putting in the effort day in and day out, rather than all of the other things that we think are related to performance. And the closer we can get to that, where we cheer on the effort of doing it, the more likely that people will actually perform at a higher level. And a lot of extraordinarily good, very good coaches understand this, but a lot of coaches don't. A lot of people don't see this. So if you can focus on inspiration, you can focus on getting people to show up, you will have a lot more people doing far better things than simply just performing at a given moment. Try it, see what happens. Encourage yourself to show up rather than focusing on the fact that you didn't perform where you thought you should. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.